Okay, so I am on live. If you are here, join me. So we read, are we reading chapter 4? Yes, chapter 4. Okay, it looks like. Okay, so we are going to read today. Hi, we are continuing to read today. Thank you for joining. We're going to continue reading this book, Birth Without Fear. We are on chapter 4. Hey, thank you for joining. All right, we're going to read this book. If you can hear me, please just click on the like button or the emoji something and let me know you can hear me, or type in we can hear you. Thank you. And you too. Thank you for the prayer. Thank you very much. And you too. Blessings to you. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Good. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to continue reading this chapter 4. Last week we read, 3 days ago we read chapter 3. And then last weekend we read chapter 1 and chapter 2. Today we're going to read some of the part 3 and then chapter 4. I will start reading in a bit. Okay, and if you have not followed through with the reading, you can actually follow through by catching the replay of the other readings that I have already read before. So this is the page that we're going to start reading today. All right, page 55 of Birth Without Fear. Okay, so if you are pregnant, or you know somebody who is pregnant and you are interested in reading books, but it's hard for you to read books, this is the main reason why I have started this series. I'll come on for 1 hour or so and read. Just read, so you listen. If there are technical words in the reading chapter, I will try to explain a little bit so it's not very complicated to you. I have a lot of patients where I work with, and some of my clients, that even though they are readers, they like to read, pregnancy makes them to feel very lethargic. It's like the early stage of pregnancy makes them very miserable. They cannot read, they cannot empower themselves with any information that is vital at the time when they actually need a lot of education and information. So this is a very beautiful idea that I set up a time and then I come on, I read a little bit, you listen in even if you are not reading physically all by yourself. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to go on and read. If you have the book, you can open to the page 55, and read along with me. If you don't have the book, it's still good. It's still fine. You can actually read. Just listening. Just listen in. That's it. Okay? It says kids stop live. Kids are watching this. Okay. Is this for kids even? Which kid is up by this time? There's school tomorrow, right? Even if the child is being homeschooled, they have to wake up and be homeschooled. Who is watching? even if they have to watch. This is very good information. It's very, very vital information that a lot of kids learn all unnecessary things. By the time they start realizing that nobody has taught them about themselves, about their body, about their autonomy, it's too late. And people start to scream, why didn't anybody teach me at school? Why didn't school teach me this? Why didn't... Come on. These are very important information that women actually bite their tongue. They bite their fingers to just say, I didn't know this. Maybe their first pregnancy, maybe their second pregnancy. They didn't know a lot of information. They wish they knew before they entered even into pregnancy. They wish they knew before they entered into postpartum. And third pregnancy, fourth pregnancy, before they realize, ooh, something has happened that I never wanted it to happen. So how can I make it different this time? So this is the reason, okay? All right, so if kids are watching, that's fine. This is good information that they need for their life. This is a life skill, right? Not the unnecessary things that nowadays we make kids watch and waste their life for 7 years until they start to realize that, oh no, they have to go to school and start teaching them ABCs. ABCs is unnecessary even, to my opinion, okay? You teach your kids good character. You teach your kids good behavior. You teach your kids how to know their purpose in life before you even start teaching them academic stuff. All right? So, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading. I'll read part 2. It's a part 2 is on page 55. All right. Okay. Yes. Hello. Alberto Lopez. The JPC7. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay, so I would go on and start reading. If you have any question whilst I'm reading, you can type the question in, and if there is a need for me to answer or to attend to the question, I will. If not, I will continue to read. Sometimes I just want to read to get the flow and then just say, okay, we are reading, because when somebody or you tend to listen to the replay, the replay will be flowing as easy. It's gonna have a flow to the reading. All right, so that's the reason why I'm gonna be reading. I'm going to be reading without explaining. But some sisters told me they like that commentary as well. So I'll try to do that. And I have until 1 hour. So this is what I'm going to do until 1 hour, then I'm done. All right. So we're reading part 2 of chapter 3, and then we go on to chapter 4. This is part 2, options, support, and respect. Labor and birth. I do not care what kind of birth you have. A home birth, scheduled C-section, epidural hospital birth, or if you birth alone in the woods next to a baby deer. I care that you have options, that you are supported in your choices, and that you are respected. You have made it past all the tests, questions, uncertainties, discomforts, and pesky comments on of what are you going to poop? Or when are you going to poop? And are you sure there aren't twins in there? And you haven't purchased anyone, and you haven't punched anyone. Tell me again why you don't get gold stars. Okay. So when you pass the first trimester, you pass the second trimester, a lot of the times you get a lot of comments, people talking, people just saying whatever they want to say. But if you are able to pass that stage, alhamdulillah, right? So at the end of it all, you need to know your options. Whether you are birthing in the hospital, or you are birthing in the birth center, or you are birthing at home, you need to know your options. If you don't know your options, it means you are open to anything happening to you. And that is what why women sometimes come out of birth with trauma, with a lot of trauma, and then with birth stories that they really have to process and feel like, no, certain things didn't go right. Even though, yeah, birth is unpredictable, you can't really say it's going to go the way you planned it, but you do your best. That, like last time I was reading, I said to tie your camel, right? You cannot say that you are giving everything else in the hands of your provider. You are giving everything else in the hands of your care team. No, you have to tie your camel. You have to, what is in your control, you do what is in your control and leave the rest to Allah. And that is the tawakkul that we are talking about all the time on this channel. Okay? You do what is in your control, as in eating right. If you need to exercise, you exercise. You have questions, you ask the questions, and you weigh in. A lot of the times also, if you are weighing in, women don't know that they have options. There is a tool that I always tell clients, I always tell women that this tool can help you to make decisions, especially if you are very undecided, or you don't even know what is that is being presented to you. And that can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, making decision. And when you go to the doctor appointment, it can be overwhelming. You have so many things going on. You have so many things to listen to. Sometimes doctors even don't say anything. Your prenatal doctors don't even lecture you and say nothing. They don't even guide you. You only go there and they tell you, do pee in the cup, let's do the test, lie down, let's do the ultrasound. Okay, baby is well, baby is fine. Your labs came out okay, it's normal. That's it. Okay, bye, see you next time. That's it, right? But when you read books, you question a lot of stuff. You read books, you end up knowing things, and you start asking questions. You start asking to know what is normal in your lab. Even sometimes when the lab is normal, it can be maybe in range, but it's actually in the lower level range. If it is in the lower level range, how about if you, and you too, Assalamu alaikum, right? How about if you maybe pay attention to the lower range? What is causing it? Are you on your way to being deficient with that thing that is in the lower range? Are you going to supplement? Are you going to pay attention to what is going on? All of those things are very key. But if you are not empowered with education, you go in and doctor said this and that, how are you going to make informed decision? You cannot be able to make informed decision. Everything will be just spewed out to you, and you just take it. You take it. At this time, being pregnant, you are going to make decision for two of you. Okay, the doctor, prenatal doctors, midwives, they have two patients. It's not only one patient. They have you, and they have the child that is growing in your uterus. So it's two patients, and it's also two decisions that you have to make. So knowing your options, reading up, being curious, and then also being very, very, very connected to Allah. Last time I was saying that, being connected to Allah, because Allah is fashioning a human being that is going to come into this world with their own purpose, with the purpose of life, and to worship Allah, to be part of the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but also you are going to be the parent. You are going to be the coach. You are going to be the mentor of this child. So if you don't even know how to even choose for the child right before the child becomes a human being on earth, so knowing your options, reading up, and making sure that you are asking those questions. I mentioned about the tool, and the tool is an acronym of BRAIN. I think I shared a video about it before. If you're interested, you can go on my video tab and check that. It's the acronym BRAIN, right? BRAIN is BRAIN. So the B is the benefit of whatever the provider is presenting to you. The benefit to you, for you, and for your baby. And the R is the risks. So whatever it is that you're going to make decision on, there is a benefit and there is a risk. There's a pro and there is a con. So the B is the pro. That is the benefit. Is there any benefit for you, and is there any benefit for the baby? Don't forget that. And then the R is the risks. What are the risks that this procedure or this thing that the doctor is presenting to you, that you yourself made that research, and you are also presenting to the doctor as a possible thing to happen? Right. Is there risks? Okay, what are the risks for you and for your baby? Right? And then the A is the alternative. Is there something else other than what is being presented to you? Do you actually have to take that, or there are other things that you can choose from? And the I is the instinct. When you are pregnant, your instinct will be cooking. Your instinct will be developing. That's why you are not pregnant just one day and then you become a mother the next day. You are pregnant for the whole 9 to 10 months. Right? So your body is going to be changing, hormonal changes, physical changes. Your brain is going to change. The gray matter is going to be even more of what it's supposed to be, and everything else, right? So Allah in his own hikmah is changing you, getting you prepared for parenting, for motherhood, right? So that is not just for nothing. That is for a lot of things, right? It's for a lot of things. A lot of organisms, a lot of animals that we have go through that. Even plants, even butterfly. Before a butterfly becomes a butterfly, it has to what? Go through processes. The same thing as human beings, us, as mothers, right? We go through processes, so it's not for nothing. And your instinct is going to be changing. So using your instinct and also involving Allah in it. So the I, for us as Muslims, we're going to say instinct, yes. Something doesn't feel right. That doesn't really come together to make you feel like it's sensible to you. It gives you a little bit of ick, right? That is your instinct. And then when you have that instinct, for us Muslims, you are going to do istikhara. You are going to ask Allah for Allah to make the decision easy for you, for Allah to make you picking up the option, the alternative, easy for you. So you are presenting it to Allah, even though the processes is all in His hands, right? But you are actually saying, yes, Allah, I know this is you. This is you are doing it. But I'm presenting it to you. I'm taking control out of my hands and I'm just letting go. Ya Allah, please, this is it. You make istikhara. You make 2 raka'at, or you just pray. You just make dua and make yourself aware that you are not really holding on to that. You are giving that control out, away from you. You don't have anything to do with it. You are giving it all to Allah. That is istikhara. That is the instinct. Okay? And then the end is whether you want to do nothing about whatever is being presented to you. You want to do something now or never. Okay, you don't want to do anything about it. That's never. Or you want to do something about it, whether it's now or later. Right? So that is the acronym BRAIN. All right. So this is something that I go over with women, and they will be like, whoa, this is very helpful for me. So if this is the first time you are hearing this, it's very important that you make a note and use it to make any decision at all that you're making in life that's concerning your pregnancy, your care, your health care, and your baby's health care, and whatever it is that you need to make informed decision about it. Okay? All right. So I took a lot of time to explain this. I'm going to continue reading. I don't see any question here. If I see a question, I will take a pause and then I will answer it, inshallah. All right. So now what? There are many factors that will affect your birth experiences in any setting. And in the following chapters, I'll discuss the unique aspect of hospital birth, home birth, cesarean birth, and VBAC birth. VBAC, like I said it again and again, VBAC is VBAC, and that stands for vaginal birth after C-section. So if a woman has 1 C-section before, especially in the United States, and I think I think in Canada and UK, the women will be told that they cannot have their baby again through the birth canal. They have to have another C-section. So basically, you will not be considered for giving birth the physiological way. Okay, you will now be considered for C-section again. But if you want to have your baby through the birth canal, you have to work hard to get that option. And working hard to get that option sometimes brings a little bit of friction between you and your provider. Whether or not you choose a provider who is supportive enough to say, okay, you're going to try it and see how it goes, depending on how your incision healed, and depending on how your pregnancy is turning on, you will try labor. And there is also something called trial of labor, that is TOL. Okay, you can try labor and see if labor is progressing enough, if the incision is intact and everything else, and you can go on to have your baby through the physiological way, the birth canal. All right. So just in case you don't know what the VBAC is, that's why I'm saying that. I'm explaining. All right. I will talk more about backup plans in chapter 8. But no matter what kind of birth you are planning, I encourage you to closely read the hospital birth chapter and fill out a hospital birth plan. Okay? because it's going to add information about things like birth classes and writing a birth plan philosophy. And it's better to be prepared and not use it than not to be prepared. If you're planning a hospital birth, I encourage you to read all the chapters too. While all births are unique, there is good self-care and philosophy in each chapter, and you never know what will impact you the most until you are in the moment. You may be laboring in the hospital and remember something you read in another chapter that you can pull from and focus on to help you bring your baby earthside. Or you may remember something about care providers in the hospital chapter that supports you in your home birth. Don't skip over a chapter simply because you think it won't apply to you. There is wisdom to be gained from all births, and birth is unpredictable. Okay, so basically she's emphasizing the fact that if you're reading the book, you should just pay attention to a lot of the points and not skip some stuff. Even though you are not going to choose that kind of birth, you still would need those information. All right. So chapter 4, variations of normal are normal. Hospital birth without fear. Okay. Birthing in a hospital means you are bringing a human into the world in someone else's house. There are rules, there are policies, but your power is in you. Your power isn't in the hospital or the birthing center or the side of the road if that's where you birth your baby. If that's where you birth your baby. The power is in you. Your body is your home, and you deserve to feel at ease at home. You matter in your birth experience and in your baby's birth story. Your feelings are valid. Your body is valid. Every single thing you do in your life, but specifically for right now, I am talking about pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. You should absolutely have a say in it. You can change your mind. You can use your voice. Your power is always in you. You may be in someone's house during a hospital or birthing center birth, but during your labor, that hospital room is your space, your room. You can set the tone. When I went into the hospital to birth my sixth baby, it was a last-minute unexpected change. I was planning a home birth, but ended up deciding to go to the hospital. As soon as I got into that room, it was like a hurricane hit. People were running here and there, asking me to pee in a cup and change into the gown, sign paperwork, and a million other things. The mood was frantic and somber. Everyone there had a job to do, and everyone was trying to check things off their list and to get the job done, to get me ready for surgery. Whilst I was in the bathroom changing into the hospital gown, I remember one of my birth affirmations: don't forget to have a good time. And just like that, I could take a deep breath. When I came out into the room, I said, I know that this is unexpected and this is not the birth I was planning, but today is still my baby's birthday. So can we please just smile and have a good time? Almost immediately, the whole tone and mood of everyone in that room changed. They were laughing and chatting and excited to celebrate this birth with us. Always looking at the good side, yeah, and giving, like I said, giving it all to Allah. You know, you did what you need to do. Nothing is in your control. And then at the end of it all, you give it, you know, you gave it to Allah. And then you don't forget. This is actually a very good birth affirmation. I'm going to post it in the post in the community tab. Okay, it's a very good affirmation. It says, don't forget to have a good time, no matter how your birth turns out. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. The point is, you get to decide how the vibe in your space is going to be. People will play off your tone and your energy. If you are combative and unsure, it's like you get a mirrored response. Don't start in that space. But if you go into that hospital saying, I am strong, I am capable, I want to have a great experience in this hospital, then you set the tone and energy of the space in a positive way. Yeah, I am strong, I am capable because Allah created me that way. You didn't create yourself, right? So you're strong, yes, but because Allah made you to be strong, because Allah made you to be capable. And that is one of those affirmation reminders that I also remind moms, because primarily this is a Muslim community, okay? I cater to my Muslim sisters, and so everything else we bring it to center our Lord, to center our faith, to center the purpose of why we are on this earth, right? So giving yourself that, as in you are capable, you are strong, but again, knowing that that ability is not coming from you. It's actually because of the will of Allah. That is why you are strong. That is why you are capable. So Allah make it easy for you, and Allah keep giving you that ability in that process that you find yourself in. Once you've done that, if people don't want to get on board with you, that's when you rock the boat and start kicking people off your birth team or out of your birth space. But not before you define and create the energy yourself. Just by a simple statement of affirmation, you can change the whole vibe. Or at least you can figure out who is really on your team. That vibe is going to be different for every person and for every birth. For me, with that baby, it was the mood that this doesn't have to be a bad thing just because my plans changed. The majority of women in the United States birth in a hospital setting. So navigating the ins and outs of and ups and downs of a hospital birth is key to creating the conditions for an empowered birth as opposed to a traumatic birth. I want women and birthing women to have a birth high, not birth trauma. And very, very important, right? Is the way you set your tone, is the way you bring that energy in, yes. But again, you have to define it, because we know birth is unpredictable. Just as conception is unpredictable. Last reading, I was saying it. Conception is unpredictable. Nobody knows when they conceive. You know you have ovulated. You know you are high peak. You know your fertile window, but you don't know exactly what time you took seed. You don't know exactly what time you have conceived, right? So it's the same thing as birth. You know that you are going to give birth. You are laboring, but you don't know exactly how your birth is going to turn out. Yours is to just do the controllable, okay? You just do the things that are under your control, and making the mood very energetic, very mindful of Allah, very, very inviting, because yes, you are giving birth to your child, right? If there is a need for you to even say that, people shouldn't talk, people should just be making dhikr, you want to just listen to the Quran, the best voices, audio that you think you've been listening to all this while you were pregnant, you can bring it to your birth and listen to it and make it feel like, yes, the queen is giving birth to a king or to a prince or a princess. How about that? One of my teachers said, as birth workers, if you go into a birth of a sister, you should go to the birth as if you go into the birthday of a queen, right? So a queen is giving birth to a princess. That's how you should go. You should like really have that energy and go there. But if as a birth worker you go and your client doesn't really feel that way, she's not in that mood, as if she's not a queen, right? So it's one of the things that as birth workers, we also try to encourage our mamas to actually be in that mood and just say, I surrender. I did all that I can do. I actually did what I need to do. But don't be in that state of, I actually didn't do what I needed to do and this happened. SubhanAllah. No. You do what you need to do. Come on here. Listen to the book. Read the books. Get a doula if you need to. Get a childbirth educator if you need to. If you even need to take free birth classes, come on, do that. Like my channel is all about that. And I'm dedicating to come on to educate a lot. Before I said I'm not going to share anything about birth because sometimes it's very, very kind of when people, I've seen a lot of sisters who share a lot about birth, and they have a lot of people don't agree with them. A lot of people, it becomes very difficult, right? It's very tricky topic to actually discuss in the public if women have not asked for that support. But I'm like, no, I have to come on because I know again and again I've been getting questions from the sisters that I have engaged with, whether it's professional or just not even professional. A lot of questions come up. My channel is about nutrition in the childbearing age, preconception, pregnancy, postpartum, and after postpartum, right? So that is what I started this channel with. That's the idea. But after a little bit, I'm like, no, I have to bring in to also educate women about these areas. And women need to know. A lot of women don't know about that, right? So it's good that we are discussing this. We discussed a lot about how to know your fertile window, how to know your fertility and stuff like that. I have shared a video 1 or 2 times. I am also going to continue to share about those things, inshallah. So it's a good thing to go into your birth. Like, yes, you are the king, the queen, and you are giving birth to the princess, right? And then as somebody who is also coming to support you, your provider, your nurses, the birth team should also come in the space as if, yes, they are coming to support the queen who is giving birth to the princess. How cool is that? Nice. Okay. And I wanted to also explain something here, discuss a little bit here, that says majority of women in the United States birth in a hospital setting. So navigating the ins and outs and ups and downs of a hospital birth is key to creating the conditions for an empowered birth as opposed to a traumatic birth. And it's true, right? A majority of women give birth in the hospital. So if you know that you are going to give birth in a hospital eventually, why don't you study? Why don't you know the hospital policies that you're going to give birth in? If you're giving birth in a specific hospital, it's important that you know the policies of the hospital, whether they allow food, whether they allow movement when you are in labor, whether they allow you to labor anyhow you want, and not just be strapped on the bed. You can get up and walk even though you are on epidural, or even if you are not on epidural. There's different kinds available pain management tools that you can use. You can use the shower, you can use the TENS machine, you can use the birth ball, you can get your doula or a support person to give you massage, hip squeezes, and all of those things. You can go and have your lying down, you can squat, all of those things that are important to know. Okay, those are important to know. You have to also know the policies. Sometimes it says the doctor, your prenatal doctor can tell you you cannot go past 39 weeks. Like today, one of my consultations with my client at work, she was telling me that the doctor said she cannot go past 39 weeks. She's 39 weeks, and after some few days on Tuesday, she's going to be induced. And I was asking her, are you okay? Do you feel like you want to be induced? And she was there. She was like, no, she wants to go into birth. She wants to go into labor spontaneously, naturally. And I'm like, so why are you not saying that to your doctor? Why are you not discussing that? Right? So that is the thing. You know what you want. It's not the doctor who would tell you what you want. So doctor is presenting it to you like last time I was reading, and I said, your doctor, you are hiring the doctor. If you're using insurance, the insurance is paying the doctor to actually support you. If you're paying out of your pocket, you are paying the doctor through the hire, the service that the doctor is going to give you. So you are actually a team. Okay? Your doctor shouldn't be on the right and you will be on the left. Right? You have to come together and discuss what the doctor is presenting. What are you also looking to have, to get? Right? So that is the thing. That is actually what it is. So if you go in and you just sit down there and expecting that the doctor would read your mind and then the doctor would give you what they want, no. Doctors are trained in different ways. Midwives are trained in different ways. Until you mention what you want, until you mention what your birth philosophy is, until you mention what your birth preferences are, you will not be able to get it the way you want it, because they will make decision for you, unfortunately. So you have to mention that, no, I don't want to be induced at 39 weeks. I want to go on because I'm enjoying my pregnancy. I'm not tired with it. Baby is not in distress. Baby is okay. And the evidence say I can go past 42 weeks. So why don't we wait for a little bit? Right? So now the doctor knows, oh, you read. You actually are empowered with information. You know the evidence, right? You know the research. So the doctor now will come to your level and say, okay, so this is it and this is that. And then you weigh it in again, okay? So that is how it works. But just going to the doctor because the doctor said, oh, you'll be induced, or you would be this, or they will do this to you, and then you just accept it even though you don't agree to it, you are doing a disservice to yourself and to your child and to your birth story, okay? Because that birth story is going to follow you. If you're having another child, it's going to follow you to the next birth story, your next birth, until you actually process that. It's going to be part of the story, and maybe part of your trauma that you're going to be carrying, okay? So it's important that women, you speak up. You read and you know and you speak up, okay? All right. Okay. Many women find that conversations in pregnancy with their care providers do not transfer over to the care they receive during labor or the experience they have when they birth, or when or women go into labor when their doctor is not available and they get the doctor on call. Yes, a doctor they have never met before, or one with a widely different philosophy than their own. As I listened to and read women's questions, frustrations, and birth stories within the Birth Without Fear community, one thing has become clear. Many of the disappointment, hurt, and birth trauma are not due to where or how their baby came out, but are more directly related to how they were treated through labor, birth, and postpartum. Yes. Okay. How do you set yourself up for the best possible birth experience, whatever that may be for you? I wish we could all move to unicornalasia, where we birth babies through magic. Wow, no. I'm going to skip that statement. Okay. That would certainly limit the amount of trauma you might experience. But assuming that's not happening anytime soon, here's my reframe. You know your provider. Know your provider, know your hospital, read birth stories, learn from others' experiences, know your options, make a plan, create a solid birth support team, define and ambience, define the ambience of your space, claim your power. Okay, these are very, very important things when you are planning for birth, and then also when you are planning for postpartum. A lot of times women don't even think that postpartum is a thing until they get in there. I shared a video about postpartum. You can go in and watch postpartum nutrition, how to plan for postpartum, and then prepare some nutritious foods so that when you give birth, you can actually nourish yourself, replete all the lost blood and iron, and be able to get your milk flow going, okay? So baby can also be able to feed and you are not very depleted and tired out of it. Okay. So the video is on my video tab about postpartum nutrition. All right, so I'm going to read this passage again. It says, know your provider, know your hospital, read birth stories, okay, good birth stories, not birth stories that are horrible, okay, because subconsciously you're going to be absorbing those things. All right, so read birth stories, learn from others' experience, know your options, make a plan, create a solid birth support team, define the ambience of your space, and claim your power. These things are very, very important, and invite Allah in doing this. Invite Him. Let Him coach you. Let Him be your guide. Okay. Care providers. I can't reiterate enough that the person you hire as your care provider is significant for your birth experience. When you are in a hospital with its own policies and procedures, your care provider is your guide to how everything works. They have a relationship with the hospital you'll be birthing in, including many of the nurses and the hospital pediatricians. How they weigh decisions how they weigh decisions should the need for any intervention arise. How they speak to you and your partner when decisions need to be made. How much support they give and what options they are willing to discuss are crucial pieces of your birth experiences. Okay, so knowing that is very important. I spoke about that extensively in our previous reading, so you can go back and listen to it if you are interested. Speaking of pediatricians, after you have put After you have your baby, a hospital pediatrician will visit to look after your newborn. It's a good idea to have a conversation with your care provider or someone at the hospital about who the hospital pediatrician is, and if you can have your own pediatrician come to the hospital if desired. This usually depends on the hospital and state regulations. Schedule a call with whichever pediatrician will be used, and whatever your beliefs are, make sure your pediatrician is okay with that. It is much easier to have that conversation while your baby is still in your uterus than to have it for the first time when you are very tired, newly postpartum parent with a baby in your arms. Issues such as the amount of skin-to-skin contact, wrapping the baby, rooming in where baby stays with you instead of going to the nursery, as well as the use of vitamin K, silver nitrate, and the hepatitis B vaccine are all things that may come up with the pediatrician or with your OB or midwife. These are things that, yes, we need to speak about, but I'm not going to take a lot of time speaking about it. If you are nearing your birth, you should be able to know and research on these things and know if there are things that you are going to give in or things that you don't want to give in. For example, skin to skin. When you give birth to your child, right away, skin to skin help baby's nervous system. It supports baby's nervous system. It supports your nervous system. It also supports let down of breast milk. Okay, so it helps with baby's temperature regulation, and it's just amazing. That's skin to skin. Okay, so are you going to actually call in for that when you have your baby? Right away when you have your baby, nobody has to just take the baby away. They shouldn't clean the baby. They shouldn't do nothing with the baby. They should bring the baby to you. You are either bare-chested or your husband is bare-chested, and you carry the baby on your chest. You cover him. You cover yourself up because of your aura. Maybe there are other people over there. And then you have skin to skin with the baby. Your skin touches the baby's skin, or your husband's skin touches the baby's skin in the first few minutes of giving birth to your child. It's very, very, very important, right? But did you know that? Now that I have mentioned that, if you know that, are you going to do that? Are you going to do that? If you're going to do that, you have to discuss it with your care provider. With your care provider who is going to be there whilst you're giving birth, and the pediatrician who are going to come in to get the baby to the nursery. Okay? Are you going to room in? Do you want to keep your baby with you in the room and not send the baby out to the nursery? Because in the United States, they do that. Okay? Baby would be in a different nursery, in a different room, and mama would be in a different room recovering. And also, if you have a baby who has to be in the NICU, how are you going to navigate that, right? Because that question also can come up. That issue can come up, right? How are you going to navigate that? Is somebody going to have a skin to skin with that child? When you go to the NICU, or your husband or your mom or your support person goes there, the skin to skin, just stroking the baby, touching the baby's hand, having the baby like this with the finger, that's phenomenal beautiness to a NICU child, to a NICU infant. Okay, so making sure that you have that opportunity to do that as well is very, very important. I don't want to keep longer on this reading because it's already night. It's 10 past 10, so I'll just quickly read and then move on. Okay, So the case, I'm going to read that paragraph again, that sentence again. It says, issues such as the amount of skin-to-skin contact. So if you are pregnant and you are almost about to give birth, you start to research about skin-to-skin. Wrapping the baby. If you want the baby to be wrapped after you have the baby, or to be wiped, okay? For them to wipe all the vernix, okay, or the vernix from the baby. That's something that looks like a shea butter thing. Do you want them to wipe it, or do you want you to get that baby right away to you, based on how you gave birth to your child? Are you going to room in? That means you are going to be in the same room with the baby, and baby is not being separated from you. Are you going to accept the vitamin K shot? Are they going to give baby vitamin K? Because they say when you give birth to a child, the baby is low in vitamin K, and vitamin K is very, very important for blood clotting, right? But there's research now saying that, I don't want to go into it, go in and read. There's research now saying that babies are naturally low in vitamin K. Okay, so, and it is a hikmah of Allah. It is not because of nothing. Okay, so read it and then make sure you are very informed about it. Silver nitrate and the hepatitis B vaccine. All of the other vaccine, there is a whole big thing. I don't want to discuss that. You can go on and read it. Okay, are all things that may come up with the pediatrician or with your OB or midwife. I remember with my sixth baby, the pediatrician wanted to do my baby's footprint before they brought her to me. I said, I don't think her feet are going to grow much in the next hour, so you can wait. Thank you very much. Right, so you can wait, right? The footprint is not very important than the skin to skin. The skin to skin is very, very important. So are they going to wait on the skin to skin and then prioritize footprint? That is just something that is being kinkuro. It's like it's brought in. It's not necessary. It's not necessary, right? So choosing what you have to choose, what is important, what is priority, is very important. All right. So as with all things, this relationship can be one of give and take. They can continue to monitor baby on your chest or put blankets over baby during skin-to-skin contact, for example. Or you can kindly and calmly ask them to wait to take footprints and bathe baby until after you have had a chance to meet your baby and start bonding. Yes, okay, as typical as it happens in a lot of hospitals. So you can tell them before you even give birth, you inform your provider, you inform your doctor that this is what you want to do, and your husband is there, your support person is there. Hopefully you have a doula or somebody who is there to support you. And they remind your team that this is what you wished for, and that they are advocating for that for you, right? So it also matters very much what kind of hospital you are birthing in. And so very true. Okay, very, very true. Is it a baby friendly hospital? If your hospital is designated baby friendly, it means they have undergone a rigorous process to make sure all their policies and procedures support parent and baby bonding as well as breastfeeding, which means that they are likely to be open to requests for skin-to-skin contact, delayed cord clamping, and exclusive breastfeeding, rooming in, and gentle cesarean. Okay, so rooming in, we discussed that. Gentle cesarean is when you are involved in the C-section as the mother, or as the mother and the father. You are involved. You are not separated from the procedure that is being done to you. That's maternal centered C-section or gentle C-section. So you would be involved, you would see what is going on. Even if you don't want to see, you would hear. You are not put to sleep, depending on if you have a scheduled C-section. If you had an emergency C-section, you'll probably be put to sleep. But your spouse will be there. That that experience will be explained to him, and it's kind of like, yeah, a whole lot that will go on, that is he is involved or you are involved. Delayed cord clamping, I explained it last time, that you, when you give birth to the child, you delay cutting the cord, the umbilical cord. It says evidence is to wait for 60 minutes, okay? 60 seconds. 6 seconds is about 1 minute, right? So that's the evidence. But if you want to go more than that, you can ask and find out if they can go more than that. And today, that is one of the questions too that I got from a client. Was it today or tomorrow? Or yesterday. I think it was yesterday or today. Yeah. And a client was asking me about delayed cord clamping, and that she wants to have the baby. And then also she was asking me about Ludo's birth. And I'm like, no, there is no evidence about Ludo's birth, okay? Ludo's birth is when you have the baby and the placenta is attached to the baby. You don't cut the cord, and you allow the placenta to rot, to like disintegrate with the baby until the cord itself disintegrate. I don't know about that. There's no research about that backs any health benefit, any real actual benefit to the baby. So why would you do that? I don't know. Okay. You can go and read on it if this is your first time hearing it, if there is any evidence in it, or if you have heard it before and that is what you want to do. Yeah, you can go up and read on it. But I don't know. There's no evidence that is showing that there's any benefit to the baby. But delayed cord clamping, yes, that there is benefit to the baby. Okay. So that is important to ask and find out how long can the providers wait until they cut the cord. Okay. If they would wait only for 60 seconds, can they wait a little bit longer, maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then cut the cord? And are they going to let your husband or somebody who's supporting you cut the cord? Or what is it going to happen? All of those things, you put it into place, and then you make sure that you get it going for you. I kind of feel tired. It's been a long day. All right, so let me quickly go on. I don't see anything come up. There's no question here. So I'll keep reading. I think I have 2 more pages to go, and I'll be done. 2 more leaves to read, because too much explanation. Yeah. You should also take a hospital tour sometimes in your 3rd trimester. That tour will give you the opportunity to ask questions about hospital policies and the hospital pediatrician, and to get a feel for the place. You should also be sure to have an ongoing discussion with your care provider about the hospital policies and how they may affect your baby's birth. With hospital births, many more possible interventions come into play. There are a lot of people coming into your space, monitoring you and your baby, and making suggestions or recommendations. This is good on one hand, because you likely choose a hospital birth so that you would have medical support close by. But it also raises questions. How do you determine when an intervention is unnecessary? That's the cascade of intervention, because when one intervention is being done to you, it calls on to the other and then calls on to the other, and they start to stack up. And that is the cascade of intervention. So is it really necessary, some of the interventions that would be done on you? Okay. How do decisions get made with so many voices involved? You, your support person, your care provider, nurses, and hospital policies. It's important to keep in mind that interventions are not the problem per se, but rather how and why those interventions are introduced. There is a difference between an intervention that's introduced or suggested due to a true medical need or even by your request, and one that's due to impatience. A difference between someone saying, "We are noticing this. Let's discuss your options as well as our recommendations and reasons. And we are noticing this. And you have to do this." In this first case, the care provider gives information and wants to talk opinions. In the second, the care provider uses fear and shaming to coerce the decision they want. Yes, coercion, right? Forcing you into making decision. Very, very important things to also know. Having a working, respectful, and good relationship with your provider can make all the difference here. But so can your clarity about this one thing. You deserve respect, options, and support. If you are feeling pressured into an intervention, if you are feeling guilted into an intervention, if you are feeling ignored, disrespected, or embarrassed in any way, as if you need to make a certain choice to place other people in the room, this is not good care, and you deserve a second opinion or a new care provider. Know that although you are in someone else's house, you can request as many additional opinions as you desire. Second opinions are normal, and if they are okay and even encouraged with a dentist or a roofer, then they are okay and sometimes recommended when it comes to the birthing your baby. This includes wanting more information on cesarean, an episiotomy, an epidural, and pitocin, as well as the care of your baby once here. Okay? Episiotomy, I explained that 2 days ago. That is an incision, is a cut that a doctor would do in the rectum area if he feels that there is a need for that to be done, so you don't tear, and then also to make space for baby's descent, okay, for baby to cramp and then be pushed out. But there's the argument that is that episiotomy necessitated? Okay, if you're going to tear, it's better for you to tear naturally, and the tear would heal itself. But if somebody intentionally just make a snip and cut something, that tear becomes a bigger wound. It becomes a wound that doesn't heal all by itself. And it's kind of like hard. It's painful. It's not necessary, right? So if a woman is going to push and then she's pushing, pacing her push, and she's aware of the capability of her body and the ability of her body to actually eject the baby, then pushing doesn't become anything as too much to just tear third degree, right? So yeah, this education is very important, as in knowing that there's possibility, is there possibility that your doctor would end up doing episiotomy. If it is, you have to discuss it. You have to discuss it and then know your option and say, no, you are now going in for episiotomy, even if, okay, you would prefer to tear and then later on you know that you heal. But if the doctor actually makes the tear, then it becomes even a greater wound for you to heal. And at that time, the scar is even more like deep, right? And yeah, episiotomy itself has a lot of research on it. There is a website called the Evidence-Based Birth. You can go on that website and read up. There's a lot of issues on birth and the policies and interventions. It's a very good website that if you want to be more informed, you go there and you read about it. I think she wrote something about episiotomy, and just recently she also wrote something about due dates that I think I would speak about sometime. Okay, so let's quickly finish up this reading. I'm getting a little tired, so quickly finish up and then we call it a day. Okay, so where was I reading? All right, so I know of women who have switched providers during labor, some as far along as 7 centimeters dilated. It's probably not what you want to be doing at that time. But it's okay. It happens, and I have never heard anyone say they made the wrong decision in doing it. When we are talking about hospital birth, we also have to talk about labor and delivery nurses, because here is the thing, and nobody really talks about this for some reason. No matter how much prep work you do to choose the best care provider for you with a hospital birth, nurses make a huge difference in your experience. They are the ones typically sitting with and checking on you. You don't necessarily know these nurses beforehand, and it's pretty much the luck of the draw. While your care provider is on call, and you will hopefully get them or their backup when you go into labor, you get whatever nurses are on shift during your labor. Just as with OBs, midwives, and doulas, there are really great nurses who understand variations of normal and respectful care, and then there are nurses who simply do not. They are also human and all have their own comfort levels. If anyone is honest about their own philosophy, they when then when then we can all be matched up with nurses who align with us. We need to praise amazing labor and delivery nurses, but at the same time, know that if you don't get one who aligns with your birth philosophy, you can ask for one who would be happy to support you. And it's true, because I have seen it. I have seen it and I've seen it. Sometimes some nurses are very, very sweet. They are very supportive. They are very helpful. They are very knowledgeable. And sometimes some nurses are they are just there. Okay, they are just there, and you'll be like, whoa, subhanallah, why? Who matched me with this nurse? Right? Unfortunately. Right. So it should be part of something that you should also be praying for. You should also know that you can actually work to get a nurse that kind of align with you. But you don't choose your nurse, right? You cannot choose the nurse, especially if you are in the hospital as an emergency or whatever, you cannot choose that, right? Unfortunately. Um, but you can always ask to switch nurses. You can say, okay, this nurse is not really aligning with me. She's not being supportive. So can I get somebody else who can be supportive with me? And that can happen when you know and you've read and you have actually empowered yourself with a lot of good information and education. There was a time when I was supporting a close person while she was in labor. While she was in labor, and her nurse wasn't very supportive. Her nurse was just treating everybody else on the floor who is giving birth as if they are beggars. And then I came in and I spoke up. And the nurse realized that no, she actually, yes, was doing them wrong. She wasn't doing right with them. And she changed her demeanor. She changed the way she was treating and supporting the close person that I was with, right? And she started to change how she was supporting her, and she gave her a little bit better support because I spoke up, because I was like, no, she's a human being. She's not just a name on your list. She's a human being giving birth to a human being. So you must treat her the way she deserves to be treated, the way you expect for somebody else to treat you. Not because you are a nurse, that doesn't mean you can just trash anybody just anyhow, right? So yeah, it's true, it happens like that. Okay. As your husband nurse is giving, are your husband nurses giving you supportive care or shameful care? You and your partner or your doula can be on the lookout for whether you have a supportive or unsupportive nurse and be prepared to ask if you want a change. This is another reason why having a doula is so great. Okay? Yeah. Like if I wasn't there with the sister, I know that she would be, the nurse is going to make her very, very angry. And at the end of the day, she doesn't need to be in that state. She needs to be in that state of thinking about the birth and how she's going to be able to cope with contraction and the surges of contraction, and to be in that zone to dilate more and not um, to progress, right? And to progress. But the nurse is really making it harder so that she doesn't progress, and then they send her to emergency that the baby is in distress or whatever. No, you have to be a very gentle hearted person to support that person who is producing a lot of hormones, because when you stress her out, she's going to produce a lot of stress hormones, and those stress hormones are not favorable for birth. They are not favorable for labor, and they're going to make your labor stall, right? So in a way, it's very, very important. And it's true that you can ask to switch a nurse if a nurse is really making you not feel like a person, giving birth to a person. Okay? Yeah, ask for that. Especially in the second world countries too. That happens a lot because I have seen that too. The last time I was supporting a close person as well, and that I wasn't happy about what happened there. Except that I know that a lot of things, women were giving birth through the birth canal, and yeah, C-section rate is very low because that is not accessible and everything. But again, the birthing condition wasn't very ideal. But it's may Allah make it easy. Ameen, ameen. Jazakallahu khairan. Yeah. Yeah, let make it easy for you too. And let bless you for the dua. This is another reason why having a doula is great. If a nurse is coughing at you because you don't want an epidural, or passive aggressive saying, let me know when you change your mind, a doula or your partner can turn to you once you are alone in the room again and say, remember how we talked about you wanting a supportive nurse? It's okay to ask for another nurse. They will remind you. Yeah, because that's the reason why your doula is there. Of course. It may be uncomfortable for a minute, but it's worth a few minutes of discomfort to have hours of labor with a supportive nurse. Yes, that's true. That's what I was saying. We are also afraid to rock the boat. But girl, you need to rock that boat so hard that it splashes anyone unsupportive out and they float back to shore, far, far away from you. Rock so hard that only the people who are going to hold on and are committed to being supportive and respectful, or your choices get your choices get to stay in your boat. Listen, nobody needs that shame. We can no longer allow this. If you don't feel comfortable asking for a different nurse or midwife or doctor, have your mom, partner, doula, or whoever is on your support team to do it for you. They can be the bad guy. End of discussion. It can be that simple. If all it takes is a few minutes of discomfort to change nurse, do it. There's a wonderfulness out there who would love to be part of your birth experience. No one else has to process and heal physically and mentally from your birth experience other than you. You matter. Your voice matters. Your support matters. Your experience matters. Birth classes. A lot of people take birth classes in preparation for birth. While I think they can be a good idea, it's important to keep in mind that just as with doula, birth photographers, and care providers, much of it depends on who's teaching the class. You need to find the right fit for you. Many hospitals offer birth classes you can take, usually for free or at minimum cost. I wouldn't recommend taking a hospital birth class as your only source of information because the people teaching those classes have their hands tied a little. Based on hospital policies, they sort of have to say what the hospital tells them to say, you know. However, hospital birth classes can be good for helping you understand how that hospital works. So go ahead and take them if you want to and are able, keeping in mind the limitations that go along with them. You may want to take a good pain management class like hypnobirthing so that you have a tool to help you cope with what labor is like. Or you may want to read a book about it instead. No one ever said that you can only attend one type of class or conduct one kind of self-education. You can take one type of class, read a book on your own, and then chat with a friend or to break down what each taught you. In other words, you can mix and match for what's right for you. The breast birth education will empower you to understand your body in labor and to work with your body in practical ways. If you sign up for a class in which the teacher hands you a binder and proceeds to read the binder to you, take a different class. You can fire your birth class teacher just as you are allowed to switch providers. Remember to be loyal to you and your baby. Yeah. And also when she said about hypnobirthing. Yes, hypnobirthing is good. It's a good childbirth education class, except that there are things that maybe as Muslim women you want to watch, just as there are the case of yoga, right? Some people say yoga poses and stuff like that. It's not entirely Islamic. It's the same thing with hypnobirthing. A lot of the affirmations and stuff like that, you would want to watch and know that you are not really giving power to yourself, right? To that nafs. You are actually redirecting the ability, the power, the control to Allah. Okay, so that's one case that I have with hypnobirthing. There is a childbirth education called the Amani Birth. I'm actually taking Amani Birth childbirth education course. I'm yet to start taking clients on that, and it's good. It's kind of like yeah, not deeply like a hypnobirthing, but it's good. It gives you a lot of information about Islamic perspective of birth education and stuff like that. So if you're looking to have a childbirth educator who you looking to take a hypnobirthing, yes, you can take that, but also you can also look into Amani birth, and hopefully, inshallah, if I am ready to start taking on clients, I can be your childbirth educator. Who knows? Yeah, let's see. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Belham, dear family. Thank you for joining. We are reading this book, Birth Without Fear. We started reading since last week. I'm actually reading chapter 4 right now. I'm almost about to be done reading, and then we call it a day. It's a lot to read. I thought I had only 2 leaves to read, but I have about 3 leaves to read. So right now I am reading and explaining, but I'll stop reading and explaining. I will just read and then stop explaining so that I can read quickly, and then we call it a day because it's almost 11. I don't want to be here until midnight. Any advice for calming fear of hospital birth after having a mashallah, mashallah. Allahumma barik. You have a home birth before, and now you are having a hospital birth. Honestly, what I can say is you have a whole lot of information already. So harness that information. Harness that education that you already have. But again, knowing the hospital that you are giving birth in is important. Doing your research and knowing the hospital itself, not just the doctor, okay? Because a lot of hospitals have different policies. So the policies that you are going to be engaging with, they are going to engage you with. It says, yes, hospital birth for baby number 1 and 2, home birth for baby number 3. Mashallah. Oh, mashallah. So you've had a hospital birth already, and you had a home birth, and you are now considering having a hospital birth. Yes. So knowing the hospital itself and the policies is very, very important. What you can do with fear is fear comes, a lot of the times fear is heightened based on what we don't know about what is going to happen. Okay? So if you don't know, or what we don't know about that thing, okay? So if you don't know anything about the hospital, if you don't know anything about the hospital policy, or maybe something happened in your first and second birth that you actually still have that subconsciously with you, you want to address it. You want to face it, address it, and then really work on it. Okay? Other than that, that is gonna come up in the next birth. And you don't want that to come up. Since you have that fear, just face that fear, start addressing the fear. What is actually making you to feel that fear? Is it actually the hospital? The case of giving birth in the hospital? Is it the policies? Is it the likelihood of maybe the cascade of intervention? Is it because you don't actually really know the hospital that you are going to give birth in? So what is actually bringing up the fear? If you are able to address that, that is the first step. That's the first step. And then, yes, Amani Birth book, the textbook, and then there is the actual student book, and the teacher's book, I think. Yeah. So it's a helpful childbirth education course. You took that before? You took the childbirth education course with one of the teachers? Yeah. So just knowing the fear and what is really causing that fear is a big step to addressing what is going on with you. And then also, if you can process your previous birth, your hospital births, okay, process them, and then see what went wrong. I wouldn't say wrong. What went on that you actually feel very okay with, and what went on that you actually didn't feel okay with. All right. So if you are able to analyze those things and then make a very honest decision for you, writing things down and saying that this is not what you want to bring again. You don't want to experience that again. So if you don't want to experience that, what are you going to do differently? Now, what are you wishing that it will happen differently? So you bring the case to your provider. And again, going back to the supportive provider. If you have a supportive provider and you bring the case to that provider, right, right. Is it possible that you get a doula? Do you have a doula? Because if you do have a doula and the hubby is suggesting this, that means if you don't have a doula, or even if you have a doula and your hubby hasn't gotten any exposure or empowerment through education about wanting you to actually do this, then I think hubby needs to have a little bit of conversation with the doula and then read up a little bit so you can come in the middle. So you can come in the middle. Because, yeah, sometimes our husbands would bring some cases up. And if they want those cases because they think that that's how we are going to be safe. That's how the babies are going to be safe, right? But is that case out of fear, or is that case an empowered case? So if he's telling you that he wants you to go to the hospital as early as possible, is it through empowered decision, or is he just making that decision because he is afraid of something, he has fear of something? Right, right. So I think that should be addressed. You can actually yes, it looks like you know a lot of information about birth already. So you can actually bring him in and let him listen in, speak to him in a way, get some books actually. And if you can, just let him listen, not even to just pick up the book and read. There are books on audiobooks, and I think now there is chapters, but I'm not sure if chapters have like actual birth books that he can get to read. It's basically Islamic books over there now. Okay, so get him read some books. Okay, Amani Birth is a wonderful book as well. It also addresses husband's fear. There is a book called The Husband Coach Childbirth. Give me a second. Let me pick it up. 1 minute. There's a book called Husband Coached. This book, it's a very good book. Except that maybe your husband is also in he's not considering you having a baby again at home. He's considering you having the baby in the hospital. But again, you can flip it. Okay, whatever he reads here, he's gonna get that empowerment and say, okay. Yeah, right, right. I mean, how beneficial would that be? Right? How beneficial would that be if the Prophet ﷺ has done that to the kuffars? Nobody is gonna join him to become a Muslim. So, in a gentle way, I always say that to my clients. In a gentle way, if you need support, you have to ask it through in a gentle way. If you need help, you have to ask it in a gentle way. Don't just assume that the person knows. Even if you have said it today, right now, 9 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock, you still need the help. Don't assume that the person knows that already because you told that person at 9 o'clock. No. Still, in a gentle way, remind the person at 10 o'clock and tell that person, especially our husbands, especially the men, because they have a lot going on, just as we have a lot going on. Okay? So I would say yes, being gentle and coming in a softer way it works best with them. It works best with them. Yeah. Yeah, it works best with them. If you don't have, again, emphasizing on doula, or even if you can take a childbirth education class course with him together, that can be very, very helpful. Or make him to watch one or two things about birth, about husbands supporting their wives through childbirth. I was just mentioning about maternal centered cesarean, and I was also mentioning about family centered cesarean or birth, right? So there are so many ways that your husband can get involved. If he feels like he's going to be, you are going to give birth at home, or you're going to give birth in a parking lot, and he doesn't know what to do, why not Invite him with a lot of the tools that you already have. Invite him with a lot of tools that you already have. And inshallah, that is not going to happen. All of his fears is just in his head. How about the other way around? Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh, Khadija. Right. How about the other way around? The other way around can be empowering and beautiful as well. When he changes his thoughts and then come out of that fear, tension thing, right? That can be very, very good as well for you and for him. So in a gentle way, do that. But I also reiterate it again. If you don't have a doula, you've not taken a childbirth education already, you've not read anything else, and he hasn't, possibly he's not going to pick up a book and read. Maybe. Okay? But if he's that person who is going to be doing that, get some books. Like you said, you have a Amani birth book. Open to the, I left it at work. I would have brought it to you. Open to the part of the husbands and read up. Read it to him. Okay? And let him listen. Okay? It's better that way. Yeah, you want him to be involved. You don't want him to feel left out. So don't come at him in a hard way, and then don't also say you are going to force your way out. No, you're force. No. In Islam, you are giving birth. Yes, it's your body. It's your body. You are carrying the baby. You are all of those things. But you are carrying, remember, you are carrying his child. Because Allah hasn't given you that. Allah hasn't given you that to say you are carrying your child and you're going to do what you want to do. No. You are carrying his child. So he needs to be involved too. Okay. So I'm married to a bottle of perfume. I'm not sure what that means, but maybe, I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's a different person saying that. Bilhamadiya family. Yeah, you are welcome. Barakallahu fik. May Allah make it easy for you. May Allah make you to have a better way to communicate with your zawj. And inshallah, Allah is not going to make you to give birth in the parking lot. Allah is going to make you to give birth in the space that is suitable for you, that is safer for you and for your baby. If it is the hospital, it's going to happen in the hospital and with people who are supportive to you. If it is at home, which may not be the option, but if it happens, Allah is going to facilitate it for you. Okay? So take that fear out of it and just start practicing tawakkul. Start practicing that. And then also making dua. Making dua that your choices becomes something that you and your husband are making at the same time. And that you are not just far to the left and he's far to the right. It brings a lot of friction. You don't want to be in that state where a baby, a beautiful, beautiful soul comes into the world when mama and daddy are not really aligning. No. Okay? So may Allah make parenting with the other kids even easier for you, inshallah. And then also the zawj, get him some books, get him to speak to a doula, or you speak to a doula, let him listen in. And the more he listens, the more he grasps a lot of stuff. And he's going to be aware. Because he says, when you know better, you're going to do better, right? Probably he needs a little bit of empowerment with education. He needs to hear a lot. He needs to see a lot. That's why. Okay? Yeah, it's just because he's concerned just as you are concerned. Some women will be like, oh, mm-mm. The men take up a lot. They take up a lot. Sometimes we don't know, but they take up a lot, yes. And if now it looks like you know a lot, you are more aware of what goes on with birth and what goes on in the hospital, and then you have experience at home as well. So yeah, bring him in, like I said, in a gentle way, and then also let him read 1 or 2 times. If he doesn't read and let him listen, so that he gets acquainted with the information. The more you get acquainted with the information, the more you become comfortable with it. And when he becomes comfortable with it, what happens? He starts to accept it. There wouldn't be fear anymore. Like you are saying, you have fear of hospital. So go in and have hospital tour. The hospital that you're going to give birth, have a hospital tour, have a birth philosophy, birth plan that you're gonna be writing. Even though it's not gonna be a set on stone thing, you know that this is likely to happen. This is likely to happen. Do I really want it? I don't want it. So you address that with your care provider. You address that with your care provider. That desensitizes the fear a lot more. Okay, it desensitizes the fear a lot more because you become familiarized with that thing. It's not going to be a foreign thing to you anymore. You know it. So it's not going to be too much fear anymore. And also you pray to Allah. Wallahi, you pray to Allah. اللهم لا سهلا إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. He makes it easy when there is no ease, right? So you present it to him all the time. You present it to him all the time. I don't agree with them. Yeah. May Allah facilitate it for you, inshallah. Yeah. It's not easy, but it's very doable. Okay? It's you as far as you said it, Allah is gonna listen. Allah will give it to you. One day it's gonna be an accepted dua. And you'll be like, oh, I actually wrote it in a comment before and I said it out loud and Allah actually accepted it. I didn't even formally make dua, but Allah accepted that dua. And it's gonna happen. So yeah, as it is right now, you are in that situation of birthing and everything else. Taking up another thing might be a lot of work for you. So yes, I suggest you, like you said, to hold on a little bit when the kids are grown, a little bit, and it's not gonna be too much work to actually ignore them or to ignore your learning, right? So you can give your learning a little bit of more focus and they would be just fine. It's good. But right now, I wouldn't say take up learning and then that part, that early stage of parenting suffers. It's not a good thing. Yeah, it's gonna dysregulate your body, your nervous system. It's gonna dysregulate the kids. It's hard. It's hard. So if you are able to actually allow yourself to have that time to do it at the right time, why not? Yeah, Allah will make it easy, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's 11 o'clock. Should I continue to read? Um, or should I pause for tomorrow? Writing a hospital birth plan philosophy. So I think I will just finish up this paragraph and then I will call it a day. I have been on here for more than an hour and I was saying that I have to just read for an hour. I feel very tired, and I have to wake up early tomorrow again to attend to life. And yeah. Okay. So let me read the last paragraph and then I'll call it a day. Inshallah, tomorrow I'll come and continue with the rest of the chapter. You may want to take a good pain management class like hypnobirthing so that you have a tool to help you cope with what labor is like. I think I read this and I explained what hypnobirthing, for the sisters who don't know about it, I explained it already. You can take one type of class, read a book on your own, and then chat with a friend to break down what each taught you. In other words, you can mix and match for what's right for you. The best birth education will empower you to understand your body in labor and to work with your body in practical ways. If you sign up for a class in which the teacher has the teacher hands you a binder and proceeds to read the binder to you, take a different class. You can fire your birth class teacher, just as you are allowed to switch providers. Remember to be loyal to you and your baby first. I read this paragraph already. All right. So I guess I will just I will pause here. I am tired. I am tired. I had a long day already and I am here almost 2 hours reading and explaining. And yeah, I'll take a rest so that I can rejuvenate for tomorrow, inshallah. All right. Jazakumullah khairan for joining. It's such a pleasure. And then also answering your questions, getting to know you. If you are interested in following along with reading, inshallah, tomorrow I will be coming on to read again, okay, to finish up the chapter and hopefully start the new chapter. If you are also interested in going into start reading from beginning, I started reading from the introduction, a little bit of it, and then I read chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I'm going to put it in a playlist. Actually, I'll put it in a playlist so it's going to be organized. Um, Inshallah, inshallah. There would be also the playlist that I'm mentioning. So even if you have not catch from the beginning, you can go back and watch and yeah, learn one or two from there. May Allah make it easy, facilitate learning for us, and make parenting easy, because it's one of the biggest job. But as for us Muslims, it is the job that Allah said is gonna ask us. It's gonna ask us how we executed it. It's beautiful. It is hard from A to Z. But Allah said He's gonna ask us how we executed it. So doing it right and finding ways to actually make it easy on yourself as well is very, very important. And inviting Allah in it. Inviting Him in it and making Him to be the leader that He is already. The guide that He is already. It's important. Okay, so as we navigate reading and getting prepared and getting ready and all of those things, don't forget that the most important is to harness that tawakkul aspect. Yes, it's one of the videos I have planned to finish editing that video. I have made some of the I have made a live, I think a year ago, about postpartum, and breastfeeding and pregnancy during Ramadan. But I plan to also come on to make a video because I have seen that people love to watch videos that have been well organized. So I have already done that. It's just that I am not able to finish editing it, and that I need to do that before Ramadan gets here, and then also come on live to discuss it, inshallah. If you have any question, you can let me know. Yes. I will not discuss postpartum during Ramadan tomorrow. I'll finish up reading this one. I know Ramadan is a little under a month from now. And you too, Jazakillah khairan. I know Ramadan is a little under a month from now, so I will come on to start discussing that maybe around the halfway before Ramadan comes in, okay? So that we don't forget the information. But if I start to share the information too soon, we tend to forget a lot of the information, and it becomes a little bit overwhelming. So when it gets to that time, almost closer to that time, when I start to share that information is new and women are actually applying those information, especially for the women who are going to be breastfeeding and fasting as well. It's important that they know how to navigate it so breastfeeding doesn't become a struggle, and then their body also doesn't get depleted, and baby also is being nourished. It's very, very important. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. I'll call it a day. I hope that nobody has any question. Jazakillah khairan for the engagement. That's awesome. If you know anybody who needs this information or who would benefit from this channel, please share it to them. Okay, share it to the WhatsApp groups and stuff like that, because sisters need this information. I tend sometimes to get people who come on live, and then this information is not for them, so it's not very valuable to them, and they just come and harass and do whatever they comment and do whatever they want to do over here, unfortunately. So that is something that I want to like sieve away. So the more sisters engage, the more I know that the YouTube will start to share to similar sisters instead of sharing it to those people who just don't have respect for this information. All right. Okay. So I think there is no other question. I haven't seen anything. Oh, that's beautiful. Jazakillah khairan. Jazakillah khairan. I hope this channel has been beneficial to you, inshallah. And may Allah forgive me for any mismention, misinformation. I'm learning just as we are all learning. So may Allah make this community a beautiful community and always renew my intention for the benefit of, of the ummah and for for the greater purpose, inshallah. Ameen, Ameen, and you too. Ameen. Jazakallah khairan. All right. So I think I have to call it a day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this message is held for review. Oh, mashallah. You see, that's why I'm like, no, let me open the comment because it says the comment needs review. Sometimes, yeah, I get some comments that are not very appropriate. So I'm like, okay, let me open this. But it's good. It's good that I opened it. Yeah, mashallah, you are also in Ikabi. May Allah keep you steadfast and keep us steadfast. Yeah, beautiful. Mashallah. Okay. All right. Yeah. You two have a good night and stay blessed, inshallah. May Allah be with you and your family. Jazakallahu khairan for engaging and being here with me, learning together and creating community. Ameen. This is beautiful dua. Ameen. 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 This is wonderful. Jazakallahu khairan. Barakallahu feekum. All right. So I'll call it a night. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.